First contact. The vast expanse of space stretched out before Captain Sarah Chen as she stood on the bridge of the ISS Horizon, humanity's most advanced deep space exploration vessel. The ship's sleek design and powerful warp drive had carried them further into the unknown than any human had ever ventured before. But it wasn't the breathtaking view of distant stars that held Sarah's attention. It was the urgent message flashing on the main view screen. "Captain, we're picking up a distress signal," Lieutenant Raj Patel reported, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface of his station. "It's unlike anything we've ever encountered before." Sarah's brow furrowed as she approached Rage's station. "Can you isolate it?" Reg nodded, his dark eyes reflecting the soft blue glow of the display. "I think so. It's coming from a nearby system, just at the edge of our long-range sensors." As the bridge crew worked to pinpoint the signal's origin, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the precipice of something monumental. Humanity had long wondered if they were alone in the universe. Now it seemed they might finally have their answer. "Signal isolated, Captain," Raj announced. "It's definitely not human in origin. The language structure is completely alien, but the intent is clear. It's a call for help." Sarah took a deep breath, weighing the gravity of the situation. As an explorer, every fiber of her being urged her to investigate. As a captain, she had to consider the safety of her crew. But as a human being, she knew there was only one choice. "Plot a course, Lieutenant," she ordered. "Let's see who's calling." The horizon surged forward, its warp drive humming with power as it carried the ship towards the unknown. As they approached the system, the sensors began to paint a clearer picture of what awaited them. "Captain, I'm detecting a planet with signs of advanced civilization," reported Ensign Maya Wong from the science station. "But there's something else. Multiple ships in orbit. They appear to be engaged in some kind of conflict." Sarah's heart raced. First contact was always a delicate situation, but stumbling into the middle of an alien war, that was unprecedented territory. "Tactical analysis, Mr. Kowalski," Sarah commanded. The ship's tactical officer, a burly man with a neatly trimmed beard, responded quickly. "Two distinct groups, Captain. A larger force with approximately 20 ships of various sizes, and a smaller group of only 3 ships. The smaller group appears to be on the defensive, and they're the source of the distress call." Sarah nodded, her mind racing through potential scenarios. "Opinions, people. What are we looking at?" Dr. Elara Tessoni, the ship's exobiologist and cultural expert, spoke up. Her voice carried the lilting accent of her Nigerian heritage. "Captain, based on the limited data we have, I believe we may be witnessing an attempted coup or invasion. The defending ships could represent the planet's legitimate government. Or we could be siding with the bad guys," Kowalski muttered. "We're not siding with anyone yet," Sarah said firmly. "Our priority is to assess the situation and offer assistance if we can do so without violating the Prime Directive." As they drew closer to the planet, the details of the conflict became clearer. The defending ships were clearly outmatched, their sleek designs no match for the brutal efficiency of the attacking force. "Captain, we're being hailed," Raj announced. "It's from the lead ship of the defending force." Sarah straightened her uniform. On screen, the view screen flickered to life, revealing a sight that took the entire bridge crew's breath away. 2 alien beings stood side by side, their appearances both familiar and utterly foreign. They had humanoid forms, with slender bodies and elongated limbs. Their skin shimmered with an iridescent quality, shifting colors like the surface of a soap bubble. But it was their eyes that captured Sarah's attention, large, luminous orbs that seemed to hold the depths of the cosmos within them. "Greetings, unknown vessel," one of the aliens spoke, their voice resonating with a musical quality that the universal translator struggled to fully capture. "I am Princess Sarah, and this is my sister, Princess Lyra. We represent the sovereign planet of Lumina, and we beseech your aid." Sarah stepped forward, her voice steady despite the awe she felt. "I am Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth ship Horizon. we received your distress call. Can you tell us more about your situation? The alien princesses exchanged a glance before Lara spoke. Our world is under attack by the Shadowkin, a race bent on conquest. They seek to overthrow our government and seize control of our planet's resources. We have managed to escape the palace, but our forces are overwhelmed. Without help, Lumina will fall. Sarah's mind raced. The Prime Directive, Starfleet's guiding principle of non-interference, weighed heavily on her. But these beings had directly asked for help, and the alternative, standing by while an entire civilization fell, was unthinkable. We'll do what we can, Sarah said, her decision made. What do you need from us? Relief washed over the aliens' faces. Our people, our parents, are still trapped in the royal palace, Zara explained. If we can rescue them, we can rally our forces and drive back the Shadowkin. Sarah nodded, already formulating a plan. We'll need to get you aboard first. Can your ship dock with ours? I'm afraid not, Lara replied, her voice tinged with urgency. Our ship has sustained too much damage. We'll need to transport directly to your vessel. Understood. Stand by for transport. Sarah turned to her crew. Kowalski, I want a security team in the transporter room. Dr. Tisoni, you're with me. Let's go meet our guests. As Sarah and Ilara made their way to the transporter room, the gravity of the situation settled over them. They were about to become the first humans to make direct contact with an alien species, and in the middle of a war, no less. Thoughts, Doctor? Sarah asked as they walked. Ilara's eyes sparkled with excitement despite the tension. This is unprecedented, Captain. The scientific and cultural implications are staggering, but we must be cautious. We know nothing about these beings or their conflict. Sarah nodded. Agreed. We'll offer what help we can, but our primary mission remains exploration, not warfare. They arrived at the transporter room just as the security team took their positions. Sarah nodded to the transporter chief. Energize. The air shimmered with energy, and two tall, graceful figures materialized on the transporter pad. Up close, the alien princesses were even more breathtaking. Their bodies seemed to glow from within, and their movements were fluid, almost dance-like. Welcome aboard the Horizon, Sarah said, stepping forward. I'm Captain Chen, and this is Dr. Tisoni, our exobiologist and cultural expert. The princesses bowed in unison, a gesture of deep respect. We are eternally grateful for your assistance, Captain, Zara said. Our people have long wondered if other intelligent life existed among the stars. It seems fate has brought us together in our hour of need. As they spoke, Sarah couldn't help but notice the princesses' eyes widening as they took in their surroundings. They seemed particularly fascinated by the human crew members, their gazes lingering on the men with undisguised curiosity. If you'll follow me, Sarah said, gesturing towards the door, we can discuss your situation in more detail and formulate a plan. As they made their way to the conference room, Lara leaned close to her sister, whispering in their native tongue. The universal translator struggled for a moment before rendering their words. Sister, did you see? They have both males and females working together as equals. How strange and wonderful. Zara nodded, her eyes still wide with wonder. Indeed, and their technology, it's unlike anything we've ever seen. Perhaps these humans are more than we dared hope for. Sarah pretended not to notice the exchange, but she filed the information away. It seemed their new allies had some significant cultural differences to navigate. In the conference room, the senior staff gathered around the table as the princesses explained their situation in more detail. The Shadowkin, it seemed, were a race of warriors who had been slowly conquering nearby systems. Lumina, with its advanced technology and valuable natural resources, had long been a tempting target. Our people are peaceful, Lyra explained, her voice heavy with emotion. We have powerful defenses, but we've never faced an enemy like this before. The Shadowkin somehow bypassed our shields and launched a surprise attack on the capital. We managed to escape, Zara continued, but our parents, the king and queen, are still trapped in the palace. If we can rescue them and access the planet's defense grid, we might have a chance of driving the Shadowkin back. Sarah leaned forward, her mind already working on potential strategies. Do you have any schematics of the palace? Any information on the Shadowkin's capabilities that could help us plan a rescue mission? The princesses nodded, producing a small crystalline device. When activated, it projected a detailed holographic map of the palace and its surroundings. Impressive, Kowalski muttered, studying the layout. The Shadowkin have energy weapons similar to your own, Lara explained, but their true strength lies in their ability to manipulate shadows. They can use them for stealth, to create barriers, even as a form of short-range teleportation. Sarah's brow furrowed. That complicates things. We'll need to find a way to counteract their shadow abilities if we're going to have any chance of success. Dr. Tisoni spoke up, her eyes alight with an idea. Captain, if the shadow can rely on darkness, perhaps we can use that against them. Our photon grenades, modified to emit a sustained high-intensity light, could neutralize their advantage, Sarah finished, nodding appreciatively. Good thinking, Doctor. Kowalski, work with engineering to modify a batch of grenades. We'll need them for the assault team. As the crew began to formulate a rescue plan, Sarah couldn't help but notice the way the princesses watched them work. There was awe in their eyes, yes, but also something else. A growing admiration, particularly when they looked at the male crew members. Captain, Zara said softly, during a lull in the planning. We must confess, we've never seen beings quite like you before. On our world, males are rare, protected. To see them working alongside females as equals, it's revolutionary. Sarah raised an eyebrow, realizing the cultural chasm they were navigating was even wider than she'd initially thought. On Earth, and throughout the United Federation of Planets, equality is one of our founding principles. Everyone has the opportunity to serve, regardless of gender. The princesses exchanged a look of wonder. Perhaps, Lyra mused, there is much our people could learn from each other. Before Sarah could respond, the ship's red alert klaxon bared to life. Ray's voice came over the comm system. Captain to the bridge. The Shadowkin fleet is on the move. They're heading straight for us. Sarah was on her feet in an instant. Battle stations. Princesses, please come with me. We may need your insight. As they raced to the bridge, Sarah's mind whirled with possibilities. They had come seeking first contact, hoping to expand the boundaries of human knowledge. Instead, they found themselves on the brink of an interstellar war. But as she glanced at the alien princesses beside her, Sarah felt a surge of determination. Humanity had always risen to meet great challenges. They had conquered disease, colonized other planets, and pushed the boundaries of science and exploration. Now, face to face with an alien threat, Sarah knew her crew would rise to the occasion once again. The horizon might be outnumbered and in unfamiliar territory, but they had something the Shadowkin didn't, the indomitable human spirit, and as the first shots of the battle lit up the void of space, Sarah Chen knew that spirit would be put to the ultimate test. Shadows and light. The bridge of the ISS horizon erupted into a flurry of activity as the Shadowkin fleet bore down upon them. Captain Sarah Chen's voice cut through the chaos, steady and authoritative. Shields up. Evasive maneuvers, pattern Delta 3. The ship banked hard, narrowly avoiding a barrage of dark energy blasts from the lead Shadowkin vessel. The viewscreen flickered with an unsettling mix of inky blackness and crackling purple lightning, the signature weapons of their new foe. Their technology, Princess Zara breathed, her iridescent skin pulsing with anxiety. It's like nothing we've ever encountered. How can your ship withstand such an assault? Sarah allowed herself a small, confident smile. The horizon is built of sterner stuff than you might think, Your Highness. Mr. Kowalski, return fire. Target their lead ship's propulsion systems. The tactical officer's fingers danced across his console. Aye, Captain. quantum torpedoes away. Brilliant streaks of blue-white light lanced out from the horizon, spiraling towards the massive Shadowkin dreadnought. For a moment, it seemed as though the torpedoes would strike true. But at the last second, the enemy ship shimmered, seeming to melt into the very fabric of space itself. "Impossible," Kowalski muttered. They phased right through our attack." Dr. Tisoni leaned forward, her eyes wide with realization. "Captain, I don't think they're manipulating shadows in the way we understood. They're bending light itself, perhaps even the fundamental forces of the universe." Sarah's mind raced. How could they fight an enemy that could simply phase out of existence at will? She turned to the alien princesses, who watched the battle unfold with a mixture of awe and terror. "Your Highnesses, we need more information. You said your people have powerful defenses. What exactly are we dealing with here?" Princess Lyra stepped forward, her luminous eyes fixed on the horrifying ballet of destruction playing out before them. "The heart of Lumina," she said softly. "It's an ancient artifact, the source of our planet's power and protection. Legend says it was gifted to us by the cosmos itself." "And let me guess," Sarah said, a sinking feeling in her stomach. "The Shadowkin are after this heart." Zara nodded grimly. "If they obtain it, they'll be unstoppable. The heart doesn't just power our defenses, it's said to hold the key to manipulating the very fabric of reality." A massive impact rocked the ship, sending crew members stumbling. "Shields at 62%, Raj called out. "We can't take much more of this, Captain." Sarah's mind whirled, processing the new information and formulating a plan. "Dr. Tisoni, work with our guests. I need everything you can give me on this heart of Lumina. Mr. Patel, get me a secure channel to Starfleet Command. We're going to need backup." As the crew scrambled to follow her orders, Sarah turned back to the view screen. The Shadowkin fleet was regrouping, preparing for another assault, but something caught her eye, a faint shimmer in space, just behind the enemy armada. "Magnify Sector Theta 9, she ordered. The image zoomed in, revealing a breathtaking sight. A massive crystalline structure floated in the void, nearly invisible to the naked eye. Its faceted surface reflected the light of distant stars, creating a dazzling display of cosmic beauty. "The prism," Lyra gasped. "It's one of the sacred sites of our people, a place of meditation and reflection." Sarah's eyes narrowed as she studied the structure. An idea began to form, audacious, perhaps even foolhardy, but potentially game-changing. "Lieutenant Wong," she called out to the young science officer. "If that prism works anything like the ones we have on Earth, what would happen if we hit it with a concentrated energy beam?" Maya's fingers flew over her console as she ran simulations. Her eyes widened as the results came in. "In theory, Captain, it would split the beam into multiple vectors. But at this scale, the energy dispersion would be massive." A predatory grin spread across Sarah's face. "Exactly what I wanted to hear. Mr. Kowalski, reconfigure our main deflector dish. I want every ounce of power we can spare channeled into a single coherent energy pulse. Aim for the center of that prism." Understanding dawned on the tactical officer's face. "Aye, Captain, but won't that alert the Shadowkin to the prism's presence?" "That's what I'm counting on," Sarah replied. "They're so focused on us and the planet, they haven't noticed it. Let's see how they handle a little light show." As the crew worked feverishly to implement her plan, Sarah turned to the princesses. "Your Highnesses, I need you to contact your people. Tell them to be ready. When we fire, there's going to be a moment of confusion. That's our chance to punch through the Shadowkin lines and get to the planet's surface." Zara and Lyra exchanged a look of uncertainty. "But how will we communicate? Our ship was destroyed, and yours doesn't have the range tow." Sarah held up a hand, cutting them off. "Trust me," she said with a wink. "We humans have a few tricks up our sleeves." With a nod to Raj, a hidden panel in the bridge's ceiling slid open. A sleek, cylindrical device descended, the Horizon's quantum entanglement communicator, Starfleet's most closely guarded technological secret. This bad boy, Sarah explained, patting the device affectionately, can send instantaneous, undetectable messages across vast distances. Go ahead, call home. Let them know the cavalry's coming. As the princesses marveled at the communicator, Sarah turned back to her crew. The energy of the bridge had shifted. Where there had been fear and uncertainty, now there was determination. Humanity's finest, about to pull off the impossible. Deflector dish charged and ready, Captain, Kowalski reported, awaiting your command. Sarah took a deep breath, savoring the moment. This was what humans lived for, the thrill of discovery, the rush of pushing boundaries, the glory of achieving the impossible. Fire. A blinding beam of pure energy erupted from the horizon, lancing across space to strike the massive prism. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then, with a silent explosion of light, the beam fractured into 1,000 brilliant shards. The effect was breathtaking. The dark void of space transformed into a dazzling kaleidoscope of color and light. The Shadowkin ships, caught in the cosmic light show, began to waver and distort. Their phase-shifting technology, Dr. Tassoni called out, her voice filled with excitement. It's destabilizing. The prism's light is interfering with their ability to manipulate reality. Sarah didn't waste a moment. All power to engines. Take us in full speed. The horizon surged forward, plunging into the heart of the Shadowkin fleet. Enemy ships, their systems scrambled by the prismatic assault, spun wildly out of control. Those that managed to fire found their weapons scattered harmlessly into space, refracted by the lingering energy field. As they broke through the enemy lines, a cheer went up from the crew. But Sarah knew the battle was far from over. They still had to reach the planet's surface, rescue the Luminan royalty, and somehow put an end to the Shadowkin threat once and for all. Kowalski, prep a strike team, she ordered. We're going planetside. Dr. Tassoni, you're with me. Time to see this heart of Lumina for ourselves. As the horizon descended towards the shimmering blue-green world below, Sarah felt a surge of pride in her crew, in humanity itself. They had come seeking knowledge and found themselves thrust into an interstellar war. But true to form, they had adapted, improvised, and overcome. The real test, however, was yet to come. As the ship breached Lumina's atmosphere, Sarah could see the sprawling crystal spires of the alien capital, and at its heart, a massive obsidian fortress, the Shadowkin's base of operations. Princesses, she said, turning to Zara and Lyra. Welcome home. Now, let's go save your world. The alien royals nodded, a mix of hope and determination in their eyes. But Sarah couldn't help but notice something else there too, a growing admiration, particularly when they looked at her male crew members. Captain, Zara said softly, we've never seen beings like you before. Your courage, your ingenuity, it's unlike anything in our experience. Lyra nodded in agreement, especially your men. On our world, males are rare and protected, but here, they fight alongside you as equals. It's inspiring. Sarah raised an eyebrow, realizing that this mission might have unintended consequences for Luminan society. But there was no time to dwell on it now. The fate of two civilizations hung in the balance. As the strike team assembled in the transporter room, Sarah took one last look at her crew. Humans and aliens, standing side by side, ready to face the unknown. This, she realized, was what humanity had been striving for since they first looked up at the stars. All right, people, she said, her voice filled with determination. Let's go make history. The transporter hummed to life, and in a shimmer of energy, they vanished, bound for the surface of an alien world and a confrontation that would shake the destiny of two species. Little did they know, the true test of humanity's spirit was only just beginning. For deep within the obsidian fortress, ancient powers stirred, powers that would challenge not just their strength and technology, but the very essence of what it meant to be human, the heart of humanity. The crystalline spires of Lumina's capital glittered like frozen flame as Captain Sarah Chen and her strike team materialized on the planet's surface. The air hummed with an otherworldly energy, setting their teeth on edge and making the hair on their arms stand up. By the cosmic core, Princess Zara breathed, her iridescent skin pulsing with a mix of fear and awe. What have they done to our home? The once pristine city was a battlefield. Shadowkin troops, their armor seeming to drink in the light around them, clashed with the remaining Luminan defenders. The air crackled with energy weapons and the eerie, whisper-like sound of shadow manipulation. "Stay focused," Sarah ordered, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. "We have a mission to complete. Princesses, lead the way to the heart of Lumina." As they navigated the war-torn streets, weaving through the debris of shattered crystal buildings, Sarah couldn't help but marvel at the resilience of her team. Dr. Tisoni moved with surprising agility for a scientist, her eyes wide as she took in every detail of the alien world. Kowalski, ever the soldier, kept a watchful eye on their surroundings, his modified phaser at the ready. But it was the newest addition to their team that truly caught Sarah's attention. Ensign Jake Martinez, fresh out of Starfleet Academy, had volunteered for the mission despite the dangers. His youthful enthusiasm was tempered by a quiet determination that Sarah found both admirable and familiar. "Ensign," she called out as they ducked behind a fallen pillar to avoid a patrol of Shadowkin troops. "How are you holding up?" Jake's eyes were bright with a mix of fear and excitement. "Honestly, Captain, this is beyond anything I ever imagined when I joined Starfleet, but I'm ready for whatever comes next." Sarah nodded approvingly. It was that spirit, that unwavering courage in the face of the unknown, that had propelled humanity to the stars, and it was that same spirit that might just save them all now. "Captain," Princess Lyra whispered urgently, "we're close to the hot chamber, but the Shadowkin, they've erected some kind of barrier around it." Sarah peered around the corner of their cover, her eyes narrowing as she took in the sight. A massive obsidian structure had been erected in the center of the city, pulsing with dark energy. Around it, a shimmering field of what looked like living shadow undulated and writhed. "Dr. Tisoni," Sarah said, turning to the exobiologist, "what are we looking at here?" Ilara's fingers danced over her tricorder, her brow furrowed in concentration. "It's incredible, Captain. The Shadowkin aren't just manipulating light and shadow. They're bending the very fabric of spacetime itself. That barrier, it's like a localized event horizon." "English, Doctor," Kowalski growled, his patience wearing thin. "It's a point of no return," Ilara explained. "Anything that crosses that threshold, well, we don't know what would happen. It could be obliterated, trapped forever, or worse." Sarah's mind raced, considering their options. They had come too far to turn back now, but how could they possibly breach a barrier that defied the laws of physics themselves? Suddenly, Ensign Martinez spoke up, his voice quiet but filled with conviction. "Captain, I have an idea. It's crazy, but it might just work." All eyes turned to the young ensign. Sarah nodded encouragingly. "Let's hear it, Jake. Crazy is what we do best." Jake took a deep breath, then launched into his explanation. "The Shadowkin are manipulating fundamental forces, right? But what if we could introduce a new variable, something they've never encountered before?" He reached into his pack and pulled out a small glowing cube. "This is a prototype quantum fluctuation generator. It was designed to help stabilize warp fields, but what if we reversed its polarity, created a localized bubble of quantum uncertainty?" Dr. Tassoni's eyes widened as she grasped the implications. Of course, the Shadowkin's control over spacetime relies on predictable quantum states. If we introduce enough chaos into the system, we might just shatter their barrier, Sarah finished, a grin spreading across her face. "Ensign Martinez, you're a genius." The princesses exchanged confused glances. "We don't understand," Zara admitted. "How can chaos defeat such power?" Sarah placed a hand on the princess's shoulder, her eyes twinkling with that uniquely human mix of determination and mischief. Your Highness, if there's one thing humans excel at, it's creating chaos. It's kind of our superpower. With renewed purpose, the team set to work modifying the quantum fluctuation generator. As they worked, Sarah couldn't help but notice the way the Luminan princesses watched them, particularly Jake and Kowalski. There was a growing fascination in their luminous eyes, an almost palpable sense of attraction. "Captain," Lyra said softly, her voice tinged with wonder. "Your males, they're so different from ours. So bold, so capable." Sarah raised an eyebrow, realizing that this mission was having unforeseen consequences on Luminan society. On Earth, and throughout the Federation, everyone is given the chance to reach their full potential, regardless of gender. Zara nodded, her gaze lingering on Jake as he worked. Perhaps there is much our people could learn from yours." Before Sarah could respond, a shout from Kowalski drew their attention. "Incoming. Shadowkin patrol, headed this way." The team scrambled for cover as a group of Shadowkin soldiers rounded the corner. Their armor seemed to absorb the very light around them, making them appear as living voids in the fabric of reality. "We need more time," Jake hissed, his fingers flying over the quantum generator's controls. "Just a few more minutes." Sarah's mind raced. They couldn't risk a firefight, not when they were so close to their goal. Then, an idea struck her, audacious, perhaps even foolhardy, but undeniably human. "Princesses," she said, turning to Zara and Lyra. "You said your people have a connection to light itself, right? Can you create a distraction?" The alien royals exchanged a glance, then nodded in unison. They stepped out from behind cover, their bodies beginning to glow with an inner light that grew brighter by the second. The Shadow King troops halted, momentarily blinded by the sudden radiance. In that instant of confusion, Sarah made her move. "Now, Jake." The young ensign activated the quantum fluctuation generator. For a half-beat, nothing happened. Then, reality itself seemed to hiccup. The air around them shimmered and warped, like heat waves on a summer day. The Shadowkin soldiers stumbled, their control over the shadows faltering. "It's working," Dr. Tissoni exclaimed. "The quantum uncertainty is disrupting their abilities." Sarah didn't waste a moment. "Move now, to the heart chamber." The team sprinted towards the obsidian structure, the princess's light and the quantum disruption providing cover. As they reached the shadow barrier, Sarah held her breath, unsure of what would happen next. To her amazement, the barrier parted like smoke before them, unable to maintain cohesion in the face of the quantum chaos they had unleashed. They burst into the heart chamber, a vast cathedral-like space dominated by a pulsing crystal of impossible beauty. The heart of Lumina hung suspended in the center of the room, its facets reflecting not just light, but what seemed to be fragments of reality itself. But they weren't alone. A towering figure stood before the heart, cloaked in shadows so deep they seemed to devour the very concept of light. The Shadowkin leader turned, its featureless face somehow radiating malevolence. "Foolish creatures," it hissed, its voice like the whisper of dying stars. "You cannot hope to comprehend the power you meddle with. The heart of Lumina will be ours, and with it, we shall reshape the very fabric of the universe." Sarah stepped forward, her phaser raised but her voice steady. "I've got news for you, pal. Humanity's been reshaping the impossible since we first crawled out of the primordial ooze, and we're just getting started." As if in response to her words, the heart of Lumina pulsed, sending out a wave of energy that washed over them all. Sarah gasped as she felt a connection forming, not just with her team, but with the very essence of this alien world. In that moment of cosmic synergy, Sarah Chen understood that this wasn't just a battle for one planet or one species. This was a fight for the very nature of reality itself, and humanity, with its boundless creativity, its indomitable spirit, and its chaotic, beautiful unpredictability, might just be the key to saving it all. The final confrontation was at hand. Human ingenuity versus cosmic power, the fate of two civilizations, and perhaps the entire universe, hung in the balance. And as Sarah locked eyes with the Shadowkin leader, she felt a fierce pride in her species, in her crew, in the sheer audacity of the human spirit. Win or lose, they would face this challenge as they had faced every other, together, with courage, creativity, and that uniquely human blend of determination and hope that had carried them to the stars. The heart of Lumina pulsed once more, and the chamber erupted into a maelstrom of light and shadow. The battle for reality itself had begun. Quantum entanglement. The heart chamber pulsed with otherworldly energy as Captain Sarah Chen and her team faced off against the Shadowkin leader. Reality itself seemed to waver, the boundaries between light and dark, matter and energy blurring in a cosmic dance of creation and destruction. You cannot hope to control the heart's power, the Shadowkin leader hissed, its form shifting and roiling like a living black hole. Your primitive minds cannot comprehend the forces at play here. Sarah's eyes narrowed, a spark of defiance igniting in her chest. Primitive? Buddy, you have no idea what the human mind is capable of. With a thought, she activated the neural link that connected her to her crew. In an instant, their minds merged, forming a collective consciousness that hummed with shared purpose and determination. It was a technology born from years of research into quantum entanglement and neural interfaces, the next evolution of human teamwork and problem-solving. The Shadowkin leader recoiled, sensing the shift in the energy of the room. What is this? Dr. Tasoni's voice echoed in Sarah's mind through the neural link. Captain, the heart is responding to our collective consciousness. It's like it's trying to communicate. Indeed, the crystal at the center of the chamber was pulsing in rhythm with their shared thoughts, its facets reflecting not just light, but fragments of memories, dreams, and ideas. Ensign Jake Martinez's excited voice joined the mental chorus. Captain, I think I understand. The heart isn't just a power source, it's a quantum computer of unimaginable complexity. It doesn't want to be controlled, it wants to connect. Sarah nodded, the pieces falling into place. The Shadowkin had been trying to dominate the heart, to bend its power to their will. But humanity's approach, built on cooperation, on the strength found in diversity, was the key to unlocking its true potential. Everyone, focus your thoughts, Sarah commanded. Let's show this cosmic supercomputer what humanity is all about. As one, the team projected their memories and experiences into the neural link. The heart of Lumina blazed with renewed energy, absorbing and reflecting their shared consciousness. Suddenly, the chamber around them began to shift and change. The walls dissolved into a swirling vortex of images and sensations, the entire history of human achievement playing out before their eyes. The Shadowkin leader stumbled back, overwhelmed by the onslaught of information. This is impossible. How can one species contain so much chaos? Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. That chaos is our greatest strength. It's what drives us to explore, to create, to push beyond our limits. The visual journey through human history continued, showcasing humanity's triumphs and failures, its moments of brutal darkness and blinding light. They saw the first humans to create fire, to paint on cave walls, to dream of flight. They witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the horrors of war, and the beauty of art that transcended time and space. They relived the moment humans first set foot on the moon, the discovery of faster-than-light travel, and the formation of the United Federation of Planets. Through it all, one theme remained constant, the indomitable human spirit, forever reaching for the stars, forever striving to be better than they were yesterday. The Luminan princesses, Zara and Lyra, watched in awe, their minds linked with the humans through the heart's power. It's beautiful, Zara whispered, her voice filled with wonder. So much passion, so much life. Lyra nodded, her eyes wide with realization. Sister, I understand now. The strength of their species doesn't come from domination or control. It comes from their diversity, from their ability to work together despite their differences. The Shadowkin leader roared in frustration, lashing out with tendrils of dark energy. But each attack was met by a memory of human resilience, of overcoming impossible odds. You think your history makes you strong? The Shadowkin snarled. Let me show you the power of pure entropy. The creature began to expand, its form engulfing the chamber in inky darkness. The team found themselves floating in what seemed to be the void between stars, cold and endless. But Sarah Chen wasn't afraid. She had faced the unknown before, had stared into the abyss, and come back stronger. With a thought, she rallied her team. Remember who we are, her voice echoed through the neural link. Remember where we come from. We are the descendants of star stuff, the children of a universe that rewards curiosity and courage. One by one, pinpricks of light began to appear in the darkness, stars born from the collective will of the human team. And with each new star, the Shadowkin's hold on reality weakened. Ensign Jake, his young face set with determination, pushed forward. His mind conjured images of Earth's oceans, teeming with life and possibility. Life finds a way, he declared. Even in the darkest depths, there's always a spark of hope. Kowalski, the hardened tactical officer, contributed memories of battles fought and won, of comrades standing together against impossible odds. Strength isn't about raw power, he growled. It's about standing up, no matter how many times you get knocked down. Dr. Tissoni's thoughts turned to the wonders of scientific discovery, the joy of unraveling the universe's mysteries. Knowledge is the true source of power, she asserted, and humanity's thirst for it is unquenchable. The heart of Lumina pulsed in sync with their shared consciousness, its power amplifying their thoughts and memories. The darkness began to recede, replaced by a tapestry of stars and nebulae, a cosmic representation of humanity's boundless potential. The Shadowkin leader writhed, its form destabilizing as it struggled against the onslaught of human will. This cannot be, it shrieked. We are the masters of entropy, the end of all things. Sarah stepped forward, her voice ringing with authority. You're wrong. Entropy isn't the end, it's the beginning. From chaos comes creation, from darkness, light. That's the lesson humanity has learned again and again throughout our history. With a final, concentrated burst of willpower, the team pushed back against the Shadowkin's influence. The heart of Lumina blazed like a newborn sun, its light piercing the veil of shadows. In a flash of blinding radiance, the Shadowkin leader's form dissolved, scattered into motes of harmless dark energy. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the team found themselves back in the heart chamber, forever changed by their cosmic experience. As the light faded, Sarah turned to her team, her eyes shining with pride. Well done, everyone. That's humanity at its finest. The Luminan princesses approached, their faces filled with a mix of awe and gratitude. Captain Chen, Zara said, her voice trembling with emotion. You and your team have saved our world. But more than that, you've shown us a new way of thinking, of being. Lyra nodded in agreement. The connection we felt, the power of your collective consciousness, it's unlike anything in our experience. We have much to learn from humanity. Sarah smiled, realizing that this mission had become about more than just saving a planet or stopping an invasion. It had become a cultural exchange of cosmic proportions. Your Highnesses, she said, bowing slightly. I think our peoples have a lot to learn from each other. This is just the beginning of a beautiful friendship. As if in response to her words, the heart of Lumina pulsed once more. This time, instead of chaotic energy, it emitted a warm, comforting glow that washed over them all. Dr. Tissoni's eyes widened as she studied her tricorder. Captain, the heart, it's stabilizing. I think our interaction has helped it reach a new equilibrium. Jake grinned, his youthful enthusiasm infectious. So we didn't just save the planet, we helped a cosmic supercomputer level up. Cool. Sarah laughed, the sound filled with relief and joy. It was moments like these that reminded her why she had joined Starfleet, why humanity continued to push the boundaries of the known universe. As they prepared to leave the heart chamber, Sarah couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation. They had faced the unknown and emerged victorious, not through brute force, but through the uniquely human traits of adaptability, creativity, and cooperation. The Shadowkin had been defeated, but Sarah knew this was just the beginning. Out there in the vast expanse of space, more adventures awaited, more challenges to overcome, more mysteries to unravel, more opportunities to showcase the indomitable human spirit. With the heart of Lumina secure and a new alliance forged, Captain Sarah Chen and her crew stood ready to face whatever the universe had in store for them next. Because that's what humans do best. They explore, they adapt, they overcome. And as the first steps of this new partnership between Earth and Lumina began, Sarah couldn't help but smile. The future, vast and unknown, beckoned with infinite possibility, echoes of eternity. The IS horizon hung in high orbit above Lumina, its sleek hull gleaming in the light of the planet's twin suns. On the bridge, Captain Sarah Chen gazed out at the breathtaking view, her mind still reeling from the events of the past few days. Incoming transmission from the surface, Captain Lieutenant Raj Patel announced, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. Sarah nodded, straightening her uniform. On screen, Lieutenant. The view screen flickered to life, revealing the radiant faces of Princess Zara and Princess Lyra. Behind them stood the newly liberated King and Queen of Lumina, their iridescent skin shimmering with a mix of relief and gratitude. Captain Chen, Queen Elara of Lumina, spoke, her voice carrying the musical quality that seemed inherent to her species. "We cannot thank you and your crew enough for what you've done for our world." Sarah smiled, bowing her head slightly in respect. "It was our honor, Your Majesty. The Federation stands ready to assist Lumina in any way we can as you rebuild." King Solaris stepped forward, his eyes twinkling with a newfound energy. "We've been discussing the future of our world, Captain, and we believe it's time for Lumina to take its place among the stars." Zara nodded enthusiastically. "We want to petition for membership in the United Federation of Planets. Our people have lived in isolation for too long. It's time we shared our knowledge and culture with the galaxy." Sarah's heart swelled with pride. This was what Starfleet was all about, fostering understanding and cooperation between different species, expanding the boundaries of known space, not through conquest, but through mutual respect and shared discovery. "That's wonderful news, Your Highnesses," Sarah replied. "I'll inform Starfleet Command immediately. I'm sure they'll be thrilled to begin the process." As the conversation continued, discussing the initial steps for Lumina's integration into the galactic community, Sarah couldn't help but notice the way Zara and Lyra's eyes kept darting to the male members of her crew. There was a fascination there, a curiosity that went beyond mere scientific interest. Finally, Lyra spoke up, her voice tinged with both excitement and nervousness. "Captain, we have a somewhat unusual request." Sarah raised an eyebrow, intrigue. "Go on, Your Highness." Zara took a deep breath, then plunged ahead. "We've been so impressed by your crew, especially your male officers. On Lumina, males are incredibly rare and are usually kept secluded for their own protection. But seeing how capable and strong your men are, how they work alongside women as equals, it's opened our eyes to new possibilities." Lyra nodded in agreement. "We were wondering if it might be possible for some of your male crew members to stay on Lumina for a time, to help us understand how to better integrate males into our society, and perhaps to help increase our genetic diversity." A stunned silence fell over the bridge. Sarah blinked, taken aback by the boldness of the request. She glanced at her male officers, noting their mix of surprise, flattery, and in some cases, keen interest. "Your Highnesses," Sarah began carefully, "while I appreciate the spirit of your request, I'm not sure." But before she could finish, a strange ripple passed through the air. The view screen flickered, and for a moment, Sarah thought she saw something else. A glimpse of another reality, perhaps, or a vision of what might be. In that momentary flash, she saw Lumina transformed, gleaming cities where males and females worked side by side. Children, so many children, their skin shimmering with both lumina and iridescence and the varied hues of human pigmentation. And at the heart of it all, the heart of Lumina, pulsing with a new, harmonious energy. As quickly as it appeared, the vision faded. Sarah shook her head, wondering if she had imagined it, but the expressions on her crew's faces told her they had seen it too. Dr. Tassoni's voice broke the silence, filled with awe and scientific curiosity. Captain, I think the heart of Lumina just showed us a possible future, a future where our species are intertwined. Ensign Jake Martinez, his young face flushed with excitement, chimed in. It's like the heart wants us to stay connected, to keep growing together. Sarah's mind raced. This was unprecedented territory. The implications of what they had just witnessed, of what the heart seemed to be suggesting, was staggering. She turned back to the view screen, where the Luminan royals waited expectantly. Your Highnesses, I think we have a lot to discuss. What we just experienced, it goes beyond anything in Starfleet protocols. King Solaris nodded sagely. The heart of Lumina has always been more than just a power source, Captain. It's a repository of cosmic wisdom, a link to the very fabric of reality itself. If it's showing us this potential future, we would be foolish to ignore it. Queen Alara stepped forward, her expression serious. Captain Chen, we propose something unprecedented. A true melding of our cultures, not just diplomatic ties or technological exchange, but a deep, lasting connection between our peoples. Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. This was the kind of moment that shaped the course of civilizations. It was terrifying. It was exhilarating. It was everything she had ever dreamed of when she joined Starfleet. Your Majesties, princesses, she said, her voice steady and clear. On behalf of the United Federation of Planets, I accept your proposal. Let's write the next chapter of our histories together. The bridge erupted in cheers. On the view screen, the Luminan royals beamed with joy. And somewhere, deep within the heart of the planet below, the heart of Lumina pulsed with approval. As the celebration died down and the logistics of their unprecedented arrangement began to be discussed, Sarah found herself drawn back to the viewport. She gazed out at the stars, those distant pinpricks of light that had always called to humanity, urging them to explore, to discover, to connect. They had come to Lumina seeking first contact, and they had found so much more. They had faced cosmic horrors and emerged victorious. They had unlocked ancient powers and forged bonds that transcended the boundaries of species. But more than that, they had taken the next step in humanity's grand journey. They had proven once again that the human spirit, with its boundless curiosity, its irrepressible creativity, and its infinite capacity for love and understanding, was the greatest force in the universe. As the Horizon prepared for its extended stay in Luminan orbit, as plans were made for cultural exchanges and scientific collaborations, as the first tentative steps were taken towards a future where humans and Luminans might become one people, Sarah Chen felt a sense of profound peace. This was what it meant to be human, to face the unknown with courage and optimism, to reach out across the vast gulfs of space and find not enemies, but friends, to continuously evolve, adapt, and grow. The universe was vast and full of wonders, and humanity was ready to embrace it all. With open minds, open hearts, and the indomitable spirit that had carried them from Earth's cradle to the farthest reaches of the galaxy, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. And as the twin suns of Lumina set, casting the planet in a breathtaking array of colors, Sarah knew that this was not an end, but a beginning. The next great chapter in the cosmic story of humanity was about to unfold. The stars beckoned, promising new adventures, new discoveries, and new connections. And humanity, hand in hand with their new Luminan friends, was ready to answer the call. For in the end, that was the true heart of humanity, the eternal drive to reach out, to connect, and to become more than they ever dreamed possible. In the vast tapestry of the cosmos, they had found their place, and it was glorious.